What is up, YouTube? It is Pro HD, and I just want to say I just got back from watching the amazing digital circus, The Last Act, in theaters. Now, when you're seeing this video, it's going to be released on June 19th, the day of the release of episode 9 of Digital Circus on YouTube. But when I'm recording this, it is June 4th. It is currently June 4th. I just got back from the theater I'd say about 30 minutes ago because the movie ended like about an hour ago. So, all I'm going to say is that, oh my god, Amazing Digital Circus was probably a phenomenal film. Oh, not probably. It was a phenomenal film. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, my mind is just so. It's mixed with emotions because of how I feel viewing this. Like, I've been a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus for the last 2 years. I watched the pilot, and then it was in early 2024 when I was first introduced to the pilot, and then I was joined the hype train when episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. All these episodes came out. It is by far one of the best series that Glitch Productions ever made. Like, yes, I've watched Murder Drones, but Amazing Digital Circus, oh my god. Amazing Digital Circus was definitely it's something. That's all I could say. It is phenomenal what they pulled off with Digital Circus. Like, now, I wanted to post this on the actual day, June 4th, when I saw the movie, but I didn't want to spoil it for anyone because I know people definitely were going to try to spoil it, and I've seen spoilers already online from when it released in other countries, but I wanted to be respectful and I wanted to wait for the actual video to come out on YouTube and for it to come to Netflix on the 19th. So, well, episode, not video, the episode. So, because this video is out when the episode's out, I can finally now say my thoughts on episode 9, my thoughts overall on the experience, what I liked, my favorite scenes, all that stuff. So, let's get into this. The first thing I want to say is when I got to the theater, it was packed. Like, it was beyond packed. There were so many Digital Circus fans. People wearing shirts, people cosplaying. Like, it was like a Marvel experience. Like, people when they cosplay for like Marvel or DC, it was basically something like that. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything that large since like Five Nights at Freddy's. And I saw Five Nights at Freddy's like a few days after it came out, not on opening day. But oh my god, the amount of people in there, the energy was wild. Like, it was probably the most energetic I've ever been for a movie. Like, the last time I think it was something that energetic was Five Nights at Freddy's. Like I said, I'm gonna be comparing a lot to my Five Nights at Freddy's experience because I don't really go to big movies like that on the opening day of release. I normally go like a few days later or a week later. But yeah. So one of the first scenes I do want to talk about, and this is a major spoiler, but if you have seen the episode, then you know one of the major spoilers, and I kind of predicted this myself. Jack's abstracting. That was something I knew was going to happen. Like, honestly, I figured ever since episode 5, no, actually, I think since episode 6, like, we've seen Jax like losing it, and I think for it was right there. I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely abstracting somewhere in the series. Somewhere in the series, he's going to abstract. And what do we know? Literally, in like the first 5 minutes, he abstracts. Absolutely crazy. But that's not the craziest part. The craziest part is how Kinger, and this is another spoiler by the way, Kinger was helping Pomni and even like Zubul and Gangle and Ragatha like summon objects in. Because like we saw in episode 6 where Kinger summoned in the butterfly that healed Ragatha. And then like we see that Pomni and Ragatha and Zubul and Gangle, they were all like summoning objects in and basically helping repair all the damage that was done after Kane was deleted. But I think the craziest thing that I absolutely loved the most was honestly Ribbit and Kaufmo. Like seeing them like in Jax's flashbacks, honestly, a good majority of the last act, especially episode 9, was mainly the flashbacks with Kaufmo and Ribbit. And honestly, I'm really shocked of what they pulled off with Ribbit and Kaufmo. Like Kaufmo is a character that we pretty much were introduced to in like the first literal episode, the pilot, even though he was abstracted. But then we started getting a little bit more about him in like episode 2, especially with his funeral. And then Ribbit, we didn't learn about Ribbit till episode 5. But there was episode 9 where we finally got to see Ribbit, hear what she sounded like. Even Kaufmo, we heard what Kaufmo sounded like. And honestly, Kaufmo sounded extremely different from what I was expecting him to sound like. But that's besides the point. The other thing I do want to talk about is Jax's backstory. Because Jax's backstory was absolutely insane in the film. We learned that like his mom and his dad didn't have a good relationship. He like his dad, I believe if I remember correctly, his dad died or something, and his dad like wasn't around. And his mom, like him and his mom had a bit of a rocky relationship, and then Jax did something to his mom, and then I assume she died. I can't remember. There was just so much happening in the movie. I have to rewatch the episode again on YouTube. Like there was just so much to take in, and then like those little images and like things we saw in episode 7 with Jax when he was like having a panic attack. That was literally shown, like, that must have been the aftermath of what happened with his mom. And then, obviously, he finds the CNA building, puts on the headset, and then he's in the digital circus. And then he meets with Ribbit, and then Kaufmo, and then he's also meeting Kinger and Ragatha, because they're there. And I'm like, no way, this is when Jax entered the circus. But, like, yeah, it was crazy how that all went down. And then another thing I also want to point out, and this is like something that was like major, Ribbit and Jax, it looked like, because like you'll see in the specific scene, since it's on YouTube now, you'll see that honestly they had to have romantic feelings for each other. There had to have been some sort of romantic interest within them, because like the way that they were just talking and communicating, it literally looked like that they were in love with each other. And I was really expecting for there to be some sort of kiss scene, something with like Jax and Ribbit. But honestly, yeah, I kind of had my hopes up. But you know what? What is really sad is that Jax was scared to admit his feelings. He was scared to fall in love because of what happened with his mom. He was scared of just love in general. He was scared of forming connections, forming bonds because of that, because of his real life. So he ended up pushing Ribbit away. He ended up, and like, he pushed Kaufmo away. Like, and then Ragatha, who was even, like, Ragatha and Jax were even best friends at one point. Like, Jax pushed Ragatha away. Like, oh my god. Like, and then Ribbit abstracts because she thinks that it's her fault for what happened with Jax. But no, like, what happened with Jax, that was him. That's his real life. Like, we couldn't do anything about that. But it was absolutely crazy, though. And then Kaufmo, and then we see from Jax's point of view, like, yeah, he believes he found an exit, and no, and then he ends up abstracting because he goes crazy from being obsessed with the exit. And then, yeah, and what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, Pomni. So Pomni tried to save Jax and everything, and you guys have probably seen already in the episode, because I'm releasing this video about an hour after the episode releases, just so everyone gets the chance to, you know, fully take in everything. But, yeah, Pomni, she tried so hard to save Jax. She tried so hard to bring him back, calm him down, but he just abstracted. It was sad. Like, honestly, I kind of almost cried a little bit because of that. I really thought Pomni was going to be able to save Jax, but nope. Not ever. But, yeah, and then we see some of Jackson's other mindsets, and then we see like other scenarios he came up with, where like one I guess where Zubul may have abstracted, or one where Gangle may have abstracted, which never happened, but it's just from like Jax's like mentality or something. I don't know. I couldn't really understand it because like there was, like I said, there was just so much happening at once. But then I did like the little joke where when Jax was like in the maid outfit, and then he was saying something like "Meet me in my room" and blah 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 blah, and like everyone in my theater just started laughing because we kind of had the bit of a like an idea of like what was happening and what Jax was like hinting at. But yeah, I laughed at it, and then honestly, what else? All right, and yes, Kane does come back. I was honestly shocked because it was like after Jax abstracted and after Pomni like came back after trying to save Jax, and then that just went down because like basically they built this whole like giant tent for Jax, like abstracted Jax to be in so that he calms down and all that stuff. But then like the craziest part and the thing I thought was absolutely insane the most was Kane's return. And then Kane, that's the craziest part because Kinger specifically deleted Kane, but then Kane came back, and then we see where he just like is in like the void, and then we see like from different points of views, and like when he was creating all that stuff, like the red dot that was Kane, and then we see the blue one, and then like it just switches from like his origins to like who he is, his code. And then Kane finally reaches like a door, and then inside the door he finds like the files, the names, and we see the names of the players. If I remember correctly, I believe Pomni's name was Abigail, and then Ragatha's was Susie. I think Zubul was Riley, Kinger was Grant, and I forgot Gangle and Jax's names, their real life names, to be honest. I completely forgot. And then we even see a name, I think it was Mike Doby, and apparently that's Scratch. Yeah, that is Scratch. And I was a bit shocked because like when Kane like clicked on the name and everything, we saw the moment when Scratch like entered the circus, and I was like, oh no way, we just got the real person who is Scratch. That was crazy. And I know they also mentioned like Queenie's name, cause like Kinger's wife. Yeah, they mentioned Queenie's real name, but I forgot what her actual name was. I completely just forgot. But yeah, it's because there was just so much happening within the movie. But and then we get the reveal that apparently the characters, all of them, they're actually not trapped in there. Like it's not like a Jumanji scenario where they literally get transported into the game. Basically, from what was described, Pomni, Ragatha, Kinger, Zubul, Gangle, Jax, and all the other former people, Queenie, Scratch, Ribbit, Kaufmo, it was only their consciousness that got copied into the game, and what we see in the game is just like avatars made based off the consciousness that was copied by, I presume, Kane. So, and then we see toward the end when Kane pulls up a projector, we see like the real lives of Pomni, of like Ragatha, Zubul, Gangle, Grant, Kinger, basically, and then Jax. Like we see their real lives, we see what they're doing, and I was like, oh my god, we get to see the real life versions of them. That's so awesome. Like it was crazy seeing what they look like. There was a bunch of fan art online too of people like making up like designs of what they think the characters could look like, and I was like, oh, that's way different from what I was expecting. But yeah, it was pretty crazy of what they pulled off, and I'm like, oh my god, awesome. That was completely hella awesome. But then you know what? It's just whatever at this point, because we saw that they came up with that, and I thought it was awesome. And then Kane, the best part that I really liked with Kane is how he removed the blue AI from him, which I presume it might be Bubble, because we never saw Bubble again after Kane returned. So I think the blue AI was more likely Bubble and the one who might have been the evil one. But that's just my like thoughts. I don't remember for sure exactly. But once Kane removed the blue AI, he returned to the circus. And I really like the funny moment with the moon, because when he returned to the circus, it was like nighttime and the moon. I really like that part where the moon straight up says, I love you to Kane. And then Kane's like, I never programmed you to say that you love me. And then the moon just says, I know. I thought that was really cute and adorable. And then when Kane returned to the circus, of course, Zubul, Gangle, Kinger, Ragatha, Pomni, Jax obviously was distracted, so he didn't know. Obviously, the five of them, they were not pleased to see Kane. They did not want to see him, especially after what happened in episode 8. But then Kane, he apologized for his actions. And then the biggest reveal, which I thought was awesome, he decided that he would allow Kinger, Ragatha, Kinger, Ragatha, Zubul, Gangle, and Pomni to start making up things for the circus. They would start being in control. Kane would not be the one creating the adventures all the time, and then Kane would open up all the worlds, and then, yeah, basically, Zubul, Gangle, like Ragatha, and then Pomni, all of them, they basically have control over the circus now. So it's not just Kane who's in control. All of them do. And Zubul basically opens up like a little bar, and then Gangle pursues like her anime art, her drawing, because that's what she did, because like her real self in real life did all that, was like anime and drawing and stuff like that, and then also there was like the cute moment between Zubul and Gangle, which like with Jax and Ribbit, I was really hoping for a kiss scene, because honestly, it was really being set up with Zubul and Gangle. There got to be some sort of romantic relationship between the two, because I don't know. Something was going on. But, yeah. And then the episode pretty much ended how episode 1, how the pilot started. Everyone was at the table. It was Kane, Kinger, Ragatha, Zubul, Gangle, Pomni. They were all at the table. And then the famous theme that played at the end of episode 1 played for episode 9 as it zoomed back out into the circus and then the whole area. And then the final scene was Pomni walking in front of the screen and basically waving like this. Basically breaking the fourth wall like what Jax did. So it's like a way to honor Jax because, he was abstracted. And then, okay. I'm just going to say right now. Once the credits started rolling, everyone was clapping. Everyone was cheering. It was insane. Like, everyone loved the energy. Like, there was just so much just to say. Like, it was crazy. Like, everyone was cheering, everyone was clapping, everyone was just so happy with the way, like, honestly, I was really satisfied with how it ended, because, like, I was expecting something else to happen. Like, I was actually, at first I was thinking, oh, they're just gonna escape, they're gonna go back to the real world, like, Kinger may have sacrificed himself, but no, that was not the case. The human counterparts, their human selves, they're still in the real world, living life the way that they do, and then Pomni, Kinger, Ragatha, etc. They're just the avatars of the copied consciousness in the game. And they're just basically spending their time now with Kane. Because Kane, like, you gotta feel bad for Kane. He's just an AI, and he just wants, like, companionship. He's lonely. Which I thought it was pretty unique with Kane, because I thought Kane was gonna be, like, some sort of evildoer who was gonna be, like, manipulating everything. But nope, apparently it was the blue AI controlling Kane. And Kane removed the blue AI and then just disappeared to the void. Really, really satisfying conclusion with Kane. And honestly, just a satisfying ending at a whole with the Digital Circus series. Like, it was an amazing journey from 2023 all the way until now. Like, it was a really satisfying journey with the Digital Circus. Definitely 10 out of 10 series with Glitch Productions. And then the post-credit scene was actually really cool as well. We see the real life, the human counterparts of Pomni, Kinger, Ragatha, Jax, Gangle, and Zubul all showing up at a bus stop. And when I saw them, I was like, oh my god. It's the real humans. They're like they were all getting on a bus going somewhere. I was thinking to myself, do they know each other? Are they gonna get to know each other? Are we gonna see these real life friendships and relationships form like how they did in the circus, but in real life? That's what I'm wondering. Like I was having all these questions, and then once like that, once the post credit scene ended, everyone was cheering, everyone was clapping, everyone was just it was nuts. Cuz now the way Digital Circus ends, the humans are in the real world still living their lives. The characters are still in the circus enjoying their time now with Kane, and honestly, it was such like an amazing ending. Definitely 10 out of 10. Epic conclusion for Digital Circus. And then after the post credit scene, that's when the barcode showed up on the screen, and then you could check out last act like merchandise. And then I obviously checked it out. I haven't bought anything, but I'm probably gonna buy some soon because I need to start collecting more Digital Circus merch. But yeah, that was my review of the amazing Digital Circus, the last act. And honestly, just episode 9, like, I don't really have much to say about episode 8 because everyone's already seen it already. I mean, yes, people were singing during, like, Kane's song, and then the intro with, like, the fish telling people not to spoil everything. The fish appearing was funny. I really thought that was funny. The one voiced by Zach Hadel, and then the other ones by Serpello, who also showed up, like, right then. And then Kane's narration of the events from episodes 1 through 8, or episodes 1 through 7, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. But yeah, all I'm going to say is satisfying conclusion, epic experience for the amazing Digital Circus. Glitch Productions, Gooseworks, you guys did a phenomenal job with this series. I'm going to miss Digital Circus, but I know for a fact that it's going to remain one of the best indie series ever made by a studio, an indie studio. And you know what? If there's ever going to be anything new for Digital Circus, which I doubt there will be because Gooseworks said herself that she doesn't want to like do anything Digital Circus once episode 9 ends, which I understand because it's probably burning her out. But you know what? Digital Circus is going to remain in the hearts of everyone for years to come. Probably even in 20 years from now, it's going to be like, who knows? I don't know. Something. It'll be something popular. That's all I could say. But I really hope you guys liked my review of the Amazing Digital Circus. I really hope you guys enjoyed my review. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the video off here because I don't really have anything else to say. So with that being said, bye.